So what exactly constitutes a player who's dirty versus someone who's just tough and hard-nosed? Well, let me take a crack at it. I've come up with 3 dirty archetypes, if you will. And all these archetypes are very closely related and can cross over with one another. The first archetype we will go over is the headhunter.
My objective in tackling someone was to put them out of that game. I didn't want to injure them, but I wanted them to hurt and not be able to finish that game. They could play next week, but that was my objective every time I tried to tackle somebody.
James Harrison is straight up one of the most intimidating players in NFL history. His career can be thought of in 4 different eras, the first of which is the survival era. Initially, Harrison was an undersized and undrafted linebacker who fought for years just to be on an NFL practice squad. For 3 years, he appeared in just 1 NFL game and was cut 4 times. Finally, he broke through in 2004 and became a rotational player for the Steelers. This is when he entered his second era, the rise to stardom. This is where he made his journey from rotational player to the Defensive Player of the Year in 2008. And in that year's Super Bowl, he had one of the greatest plays we've ever seen. After reaching the pinnacle of football, Harrison continued to dominate. However, he did start to build a reputation for personal fouls. This is where he entered his third era, becoming a villain. In 2010, Harrison racked up an estimated $120,000 in fines. He had numerous moments, like flipping Vince Young, the late hit on Drew Brees, and spearing Ryan Fitzpatrick. These all added fuel to the fire of Harrison's reputation as a dirty player. But his game versus the Browns on October 17th was easily the worst.
And that is not good news for the Browns. He took a hit. Woodley got him first, then Harrison came in and got him at the ear hole. Timeout. 1st and 10. Bell picks up Polamalu. Esaqua was drilled. Oh my goodness. Harrison again.
If I had knew they were going to find me $75,000, dude, I would have did everything I could to try and make that the most grotesque hit that the NFL had ever seen, because I only gave him 30 to 40%.
The summer after his controversial 2010 season, James Harrison sparked controversy after being featured in Men's Journal. The article was titled, quote, James Harrison, Confessions of an NFL Hitman. In this article, he talked about his identity and play style. He slammed NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell, calling him a crook and a puppet. Harrison also criticized his quarterback, Big Ben, and other players like Brian Cushing. Although he did apologize for these remarks, it was clear that Harrison stood by the way he played. His on-field aggression would continue. He would have another incident versus the Browns the following year, where he absolutely devastated Colt McCoy.
And now he throws at the last second and completed it as he got planted. And I mean planted.
With the narrative around concussions rising around that time, James Harrison was a major catalyst in rule changes towards making the game safer. Rules, in fact, he was not a fan of. Of course, he's now in his 4th era, which is his social media days. He's been showing off his insane workouts for about a decade or more now, so that just only adds to the intimidation factor. Now, even though James Harrison is a famous recent example of a headhunter, he's certainly not the most notorious headhunter in NFL history. I made a video on the Soul Patrol, the legendary Raider secondary during the 70s, about a year ago. And for this next player, I'm going to let a section from that video play, which has to do with that secondary's most intimidating player, Shaq Tatum. Drafted by Oakland in 1971, Tatum immediately made his presence felt. He drew comparisons to Dick Butkus following his first game due to knocking out 2 Colts tight ends. This set the tone for the rest of his career. Known as the Assassin for his aggressive and physical style, Tatum was a 3-time Pro Bowler. And Tatum's style of play was controversial at times, as he was involved in several incidents that sparked debates about player safety in the NFL.
Y'all be careful.
Amongst countless examples of these hits, one stands out above the rest.
Things have gotten pretty expensive lately, and I need to generate some additional income.
I stumbled upon data annotation, and I took the initial.
On August 12, 1978, Tatum delivered the hit that would make him infamous during a preseason game against the Patriots.
Logan will put it in the air. Oh, the intended receiver is Darryl Stingley. The man he ran into was Jack Tatum, and Stingley was down.
In a preseason game versus the Patriots, Jack Tatum made a hit on wide receiver Darryl Stingley that left him paralyzed. Tatum later said that he had made a hit like this thousands of times in practice, except this time, the hit caused irreversible damage. This hit changed the course for a few things: the lives of both Tatum and Stingley, as well as the direction of safety for the NFL. Starting with Stingley, he gained very limited mobility, but ultimately lived the rest of his life as a quadriplegic. For Tatum, the hit changed him. According to a friend, quote, "For years, he was almost a recluse."
It did affect your play last year?
Sure, it affected my play. Tragic accident like that's going to affect you, if you're involved in it.
The two players never spoke after the hit, although Tatum did say that he tried to visit Stingley once, but was turned away by Stingley's family. Tatum was always cast as a villain after this, largely due to the lack of remorse when talking about the way he played in different settings. Ultimately, Stingley forgave Tatum for the incident, but others struggled to do the same. When Tatum had passed away suddenly back in 2010, Stingley's former teammate Steve Grogan said the following, quote, "I have a hard time trying to find something nice to say. I just can't do it."
Jack Tatum is widely recognized as one of the most intimidating players ever, and considering he played in the ruthless 1970s, he's got to be considered as the most notorious headhunter in NFL history.